Well, hello there, guys, and welcome back to Flashpoint Campaigns. We are continuing here, of course, defending, or trying to defend, against the Soviet forces, and look at poor Bucholsk. We really have put this town through hell, and I feel bad, but we gotta do what we gotta do. A few people had some interesting ideas for future games in Flashpoint to basically take our tanks off the highway and put them over here in the woods. I don't necessarily object to that. Right now, we've got some pretty powerful tanks, so I'm going to keep up with these movements, and I hope that we get a few more kills on these Soviets. And we also have this tank unit that's getting to Trelde. I'm going to be moving this guy deliberately off the road. So let's see what happens. It's not the greatest cover, but I do want to try this out and see if it works. And I've already set artillery vectors. Let's hope they come in, and let's get started, guys. Here we go. Oh man, we're already taking some nasty hits. We already lost an M1A1. I mean, the Soviets are definitely making themselves at home here in Bucholsk. Enemy artillery fire. How did they see our tank? Let's hope we don't lose any. Alright, so now the Soviets are really letting rip with that artillery, guys. And it looks like we're going to lose one of those units, another M3A1 Bradley. Now, these things are useful, but at this point, the Soviets really do control the town completely, but they are definitely spotting our tanks and getting some nice artillery strikes as a result. Come on, man. I want to try to get at least a few more shots before the end of the actual battle, and I hope we get some reinforcements. I mean, we did get some tank reinforcements. We need all sorts of reinforcements to stop what is clearly a huge invasion. Now, there we go. Nice ATGM launch by our men, and we managed to knock out 3 T-80s. So, looks like our Bradleys and our cavalry scouts still have some fights left in them, and killing 3 T-80s is absolutely epic. We also have these tanks here. They're trying to fire and hit the enemy, but with these woods in the way, I think that's going to be a little bit difficult, to be honest with you. This is 33 minutes of game resolution, guys, so keep that in mind. Every time I do one of these videos, it takes a long time to edit. We got 2 T-80 kills right there once again. We're getting some nice kills. We've actually sort of trapped this Soviet tank group, and they're basically stuck on the northern end of Bucholsk, probably, you know, missing radio communications, not sure of what's happening, and just getting hit from every angle. If we can't win, we can at least weaken the enemy army, show them that we mean business, and hopefully the campaign continues after this. There we go, 2 mechanized rifles killed in action, and on this open sort of a mini street, it's not really a highway, it's pretty clear that we're going to be getting some kills. Keep on going, boys, keep on firing. Don't stop, don't let up. Alright, more tanks on the way, boys. We're definitely going to try to attack in the north, but I am sending a few tank groups to Trelde, that small village in the center. We want to try to take back at least some of these points. You can see some of our artillery is moving forward. I've also had a lot of the artillery in the back already select positions in town. Now, the thing is, we have the fog of war in town, because we can't see what the hell is going on. But I saw the targets beforehand, so I'm hoping that those artillery strikes don't just blow up some more homes needlessly. That's what's been happening to this poor town. I mean, it is definitely the first area of battle in this great defense. There's another mechanized rifle division. They've got nearly 22 APCs steaming down that road. It seems like they never run out of men. You know, initially when we started, we wanted to see if we could maybe beat them just in terms of manpower. That's not happening. They, no matter how many of them we kill, they send more and more guys to the front. I can't wait to see the casualties here completely towards the end. At this point, getting to Bucholsk would be essentially an assault on our part. The enemy absolutely holds the city. I'm sure they've got defenses sort of out on the outskirts, so we've just got to keep on firing away. We still have a few troops in Bucholsk, and I'm hoping that they can at least nuke some enemies, and by nuke, I don't actually mean nuke, but that they can take out some enemies with some ATGMs, some anti-tank fire, maybe even we can get some tanks here in time, but they're definitely taking their time moving down here. Come on, boys, more kills. Another mechanized rifle division vaporized. We are just toasting those APCs full of troops as they move down the road. And of course, this is definitely going to be news in Western media for sure, but even I think the Soviets aren't going to be able to ignore the massive amount of casualties here. Maybe they were hiding this conflict from the population, and this is sort of a secret operation initially. There's no way they're going to be able to hide it now. A lot of Russian families are going to be asking where their sons are, where their daughters are, etc., and they're going to find out. And especially the Germans, because we are currently in East Germany, but now it's West Germany since the Russians have taken all this area. You know, they're going to be very upset. Obviously, these people will probably be put immediately under martial law, and I can imagine that there's definitely people leaving Steinbeck and Buchholz on some sort of mission to get farther and farther away from the Soviets. Just imagine the mass migration that would occur here. And with those Soviet tanks in the middle of the highway, any civilians heading towards that area, I feel very sorry for them. I doubt the Soviets are going to let them leave into our territory, but there we go. Our tanks are moving in. Got a kill on a BTR. And that was our idea, was move on the northern A1 highway. If we can keep on getting kills, 2 headquarters, 1 headquarters, 2 BTRs, 1 T-80, guys, a tank, a headquarters division, and 2 BTRs. That's pretty great. If we can keep that up, who knows what can happen. Maybe these tanks can save the day. Now, this is enemy artillery fire once again. They really know where we are, guys. They have us down to a T, and it looks like they just took out a cavalry scout. They're even going to fire some... What is this? Is that smoke? They're firing smoke on our tank. I don't know why. They're also firing regular arty on our tank as well. And he seems to be okay. I don't think artillery is going to do much damage. Come on, boys. There we go. 1 gremlin down. Might as well take out all of their units here. Why not? If we're moving along the path. Maybe we get lucky and get that APC. I doubt it, though. There's just 1 of our units there in town. Come on. Now we're in the woods with our tanks. They kind of had to avoid that group of enemy soldiers. And somebody mentioned, like I said before, moving off the road and getting into the woods or getting to the side. Let's see how it works. We're about to find out. 1 BTR killed. Yes! An emergency resupply for our tank division there in the north of Buchholz. Come on, boys. You can see our platoon, our HQ platoon is stuck there in the city, and they still have pretty good morale for a platoon that's surrounded by Soviets. We got an emergency resupply for our tanks, so even these tanks that just arrived are running out of supplies, running out of shells, etc. I mean, this is a hell of a fight, guys. It's just constant gunfire everywhere. Everybody in this area and all these small villages, I think, is definitely hearing this. And there we go. Order to strike a hex. Let's see if we get a hit. That's the enemy HQ area. Unfortunately, no hit, but I wanted to try and at least get 1 kill on that enemy HQ area. Order to strike hex 3225. That's where I aimed it, guys. Let's hope there's some enemies there. Once again, the fog of war is going to make it hard for us to see. But if we hit something, we will know. There we go, guys. We did get a hit with the arty. Beautiful. We didn't actually find out what we hit, but hopefully some T-80s. Just good to see that those artillery strikes are coming in handy. Nice! There's a shot by our tank, and we totally destroyed that T-80 moving up on the B3 highway. Feel much more confident about getting down there, but look at that, a group of 12. And the enemy's actually kind of getting out of the way here, but they have another division moving through the woods, so we're going to see if that tactic works also for the enemy. I can't wait to see what's going on. There we go. One of us got a hit on a truck. Takes a gaz. Listen, at this point, even a utility truck is a good hit as far as I'm concerned. Just hit whatever the hell you can, boys. Oh, our poor Humvee is just kind of out of control. We haven't given it orders. It's just doing its thing. And sadly, doing its thing is probably going to end up in getting killed. Although maybe it can be some cannon fodder for the enemy tank while we target it with our own tank right here. There we go. Enemies firing from the woods. And an artillery strike by the enemy on the highway. You bastards. We got lucky, but I'm really just terrified that they have so many scouts out right now, so many units really, that they're able to see where all of our guys are. And that's obviously, in modern warfare, a serious problem. If they know where we are, that makes their job 10 times easier. And I really want to see what's going on there. It could be the HQ headquarters in front of that tank. I'm thinking that's who's calling in the shots. So killing that sumbitch is going to be our main priority. There we go, tank firing. Going to get 2 more Gaz trucks. And of course the gods are going to pull away at this point. This is also going to make it a lot harder for the enemy to get resupplied. Of course, they control all the roads into Buchholz from the east, so probably not, but we'll have to see what happens, guys. Visuals are 6,000 meters, so 6 kilometers. I mean, right now, any of these units can see any of the other units on the field. It's a clear, beautiful day. And I don't know if that's good or bad. Considering the fact that the enemy has more men, it's probably not good. But I like that the smoke is sort of covering up our tanks for a while here. As you can see, though, the area we're headed to is going to be that central area there, Trelde Dresder Kakenstorf, and I can't read that third name because it's covered up by a big red star. We're gonna try to get rid of that. That's going to be the main goal. Unfortunately, the enemy tank in the woods did get a kill, so now we know, yes, going into the woods, you can absolutely still fire from the woods and get some kills. They're also on an overhead sort of ledge, which is going to make our jobs just a little bit harder. And you can see that even though this particular round took 36 minutes, it wasn't actually 36 minutes. Had we had a bunch of guys on the field, this could be an hour-long video, but we didn't. And I think we're actually getting to the conclusion of the fight, although it's showing us 7:24 remains. Now, that's not real time, but that's in-game time, basically 7 hours, 25 minutes, or 23 minutes. So hopefully that means that we've got some reinforcements on the way, because I can't see the actual battle being that long. Look at that, another infantry division down. Unless, of course, we get some reinforcements, because this is what we have. Now, yeah, it's a nice amount of tanks, but to face an entire Soviet force here, even after being completely spent, I don't know if we can do it. Keep the faith, boys. Keep the faith. I think that's the message today. Still getting shot at by another enemy tank in the woods, and another enemy tank in the woods got another kill on one of our M1A1s. Damn it, guys, not good. So yeah, maybe we should move those tanks into the woods. We already got a few there, so I'm hoping they're going to make the right decision and start firing. ATGM launch from the enemy, and someone mentioned to me that the T-80s could launch ATGMs. I didn't believe it. Why would a tank with a turret need an ATGM? But it's pretty incredible that they can, so that's another bonus for the Soviet T-80 tank. Otherwise, compared to our M1A1 in battle, I really think our M1A1 is better, and look at that. We just got an infantry regiment. What else do we get? We're going to have to set these infantry regiments up into one of these towns and basically dismount them. Probably Toglitzin, because I think the enemy, they're close enough now that if we start moving along the road, they're going to intercept us, and then we're just going to get blown up in our M2A1 Bradleys and APCs. So it's good to see that we are getting reinforcements, but I was hoping for some armored reinforcements, of course. Fire, keep trying to hit that enemy's HQ, but seem to be in some pretty good cover, apparently. Alright, artillery striking another hex. And that's going to be the HQ, enemy HQ hex. Destroying that would be huge, but we've fired at it so many times and haven't gotten a kill yet. ATGM launch from the T-80. Ooh, just passed overhead and smashed into the forest. I'm definitely happy for that. But look at the enemy moving across open ground. If only we had a tank division there at Apel, we would be getting some incredible hits. There we go, guys. More tanks in the north. They just have so many T-80s. Got to do something to counteract that. I'm definitely going to need your advice, guys, in the comments down below. We need some feedback from our NATO friends on how to stop the Soviet tide. So any tactical advice, even if you haven't played the game, we appreciate it. Like, I think even the person that mentioned to kind of get off the road hadn't played the game yet, and it seems to have been a pretty good idea. Of course, it would be better if we had some elevation. So I think, for instance, that battalion you just saw, the 3rd Battalion of Tanks, we can maybe move into the forest and just wait for the enemy, because we do have sort of the higher ground. Okay, well, back to the fight itself. I mean, wow, guys. This is pretty incredible stuff. Just want to take a look here at the options. I want something to be able to show all of our casualties. There's got to be a way. Alright, we'll find it eventually. These are victory points, and as you can see right now, the Reds own way more victory points than we do. And I'm pretty sure we can find an area to locate our losses, the enemy losses, etc. But we'll find out soon enough, guys. Anyway, I hope you're still enjoying the series. I know I am, despite the fact that, you know, the Russians have gotten into Bucholsk, not without a serious fight. All those burning vehicles, all those burning red vehicles, even now we've got a ton of them, are Russian vehicles. The blue ones and a lot of blue crosses there are, of course, our vehicles. And as you can see, we've lost a lot of infantry inside Bucholsk, so that's definitely going to touch at home. Obviously, you've got more men in an APC if it's fully loaded with troops than you do in just a tank. But in terms of, you know, actual value, you can tell that the Russians have lost so much in value. The Soviets have lost so much in value during this battle, just losing a tremendous amount of tanks, very expensive tanks at that. And nonetheless, they've accomplished their mission. Using Soviet tactics, they've gotten into the town. Now we have to decide what to do to take the town back. And I have a few ideas. I guess my best one is to try and grab those infantry divisions we just got, move them into an area that has a victory point, probably the eastern area of Torschundlingen, and then start moving forward. We might even need to start striking with our artillery. Since we're close, the artillery would be a lot more accurate, and with this tank division right here, I'm also going to try and take this 800 point. At that point, I'll move south and go to Tudlingsingen. I don't even think we're going to try to take back Bucholsk and Steinbeck unless you guys think it's a good idea. I mean, just look at all these tanks. There's more Soviet tanks to the north up here. They are just going everywhere. We might even want to send some tank units back to defend Hohenstedt. That's going to be a major victory point, 2,000 victory points. We probably want to protect it. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. Hit that like button, share the video. If you're new to the series, watch the playlist, or at least add it to your favorites. We really want to get as many people into this as possible, and that requires you all to watch from the beginning. Thank you again for a lot of views on this series, and let's keep it up.